Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, my Polish friends, you are in big doo-doo. Unfortunately, I'm sincere. You've been used like a lady of the night by Al Capone. But that's what's going on. That's what happens when you are a vassal state like Romania, Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, France, and all the supporters of Al Capone and his plantation. This is your level vassal, a lady of the night. So what happened? I started to suspect a few maybe weeks ago, or I started paying attention to this little connection between United States of America, Russia, and Europe. And it seems like the big loser here is Europe, and these guys are the big winners. Now, I have about 4 topics here. One has to do with Poland big time, which is Poland was left out in the cold with her pants down, bent over for Russia to do whatever it wants without NATO intervening. So now Poland is caught like, you said you're gonna help me, you're gonna back me up. And Al Capone says, baby doll, what? And the Russians are like, so you were saying, Poland, that you're gonna do what exactly? And Poland is like, shit. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Poland's big ballsy and tough talk about shooting Russian missiles over Ukraine. NATO will not back Poland up, and Poland will not dare to do that. Why? For obvious reasons. The Russians will have no patience with the Poles, and the Poles know it. Now, this is about what? 3 articles related to that topic. The 4th one is in the same time when Poland and Europe are pushed forward to be struck by the Russians, the Americans bring more weapons in Poland and more ballistic missile defense base. They make another missile defense base, ballistic missile defense base in Poland. That means Russia will that up. So again, United States is far away. You are going to fight, you, my Polish friends, for what exactly? I mean, yeah, you might not like the Russians, but don't you like them that much that you want to be nuked? I don't think so. All right, so this is the 2nd topic. The 3rd topic, we have the French weapons. Have you heard of the French weapons? Yeah? Okay. Me neither. I'm just kidding. They have balls, supposedly, and they say, you know what? Ukraine can use all our weapons that we supplied, let's say Poland, Ukraine, with to strike everywhere they want inside Russia, but one place. And that's very, how should I put it, comforting, that one place is supposedly, bypassed. I don't think it's bypassed whatsoever. And we have another topic where you have this Andriy Yermak, who's Jewish, like Zelensky Stein, like Zhmyhal Stein, like Reznikov before him, and Umerov is just a Tatar. All these Tatar, these guys are in charge, and Syrskyi is Russian. So these guys are in charge of the Ukrainian nation. So wake up, my fellow Ukrainians. All right. So we have Yermak, who is only the presidential chief of staff. Like in your country would be the guy and chief of staff that you never heard of. Here, this guy looks like Weinstein, that whatever he was, and Hollywood. Why? Because the other guy is also Stein. He says that, well, if we receive the the green light to strike targets in Russia, so by striking those targets with people, we're going to save lives. Well, I have an offer to make Mr. Ukrainian, who's ready to fight with the Russians using the Ukrainian nation. Very happy. They've done it before, 2 times in the Second World War and the First World War. All right, if you don't believe me, well, maybe you should start reading history. Some history, all right? Not the toilet paper these guys are giving us. And the last story here, the last topic, is Sweden really lost, at least for me, but for anyone who paid attention, lost any credibility on the world stage. Sweden used to have this neutrality, equidistant take on things, could mediate, between certain things like Norway and Switzerland, but they all lost that. And what did they do? They closed the investigation in the, I would call it, the terrorist attack on some infrastructure, and they didn't find the perpetrator. That was the perfect crime. Can you believe that? Me neither, again. So let's start with the beginning. Ukrainska Pravda. Stoltenberg on Poland's potentially shooting down missiles of Ukraine. NATO will not be involved in the conflict. So that means, baby doll, you're on your own. But you said, I can do it. You can, but you're gonna reap or whatever, however you say it, the fruits of your own labor, which is gonna be some nuclear weapons from Russia. The Russians will have no patience with Poland. Why? They talked too much. It's like, it's two gangs, and you got the guys in charge, and you got a little batch in one of the gangs who's mouthy, like for instance the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Total population of all three together, $6.1 million people. But they were very mouthy. Why? The same as Poland. Very mouthy. Well, Poland is stronger, but still doesn't have nuclear weapons and can be fucked up in a few minutes. So you have one guy that you can smack in the opposite gang, but that guy obviously is protected by the other one. You don't want to fight with that guy, and that guy doesn't want to fight with you. But when that little hyena, not even a hyena, because it's not the level of a hyena, of a jackal, start being alone, and the guy in charge of that gang says, you know what, I'm not going to protect you, Poland, then Russia is going to say, zoom in, I'm going to you up. That's what I would do. Well, I'm a bad person, obviously. But hey, I live in a unrealistic world. All right, so let's see what Stoltenberg, who's on the way out, because Rutte, the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, is going to come in. Another shit with a different face. All right, and if Stoltenberg said that, it's not he who decided that. It's the Americans who told him, say like this, and going, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And actually, it's like this. Sorry, say what? Yeah, I will say it right now, just or maybe like this. Say what? I will say it right now. I got some here. Oh, make sure that Monica Lewinsky doesn't take your shirt, and then makes money. America the Great. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has made it clear that he opposed. He has no fucking power. Using its air defense systems to shoot down a Russian missile over the territory of Ukraine. So he opposes to Poland using its air. Stoltenberg, in an interview broadcast on a national joint pop on Sunday. The NATO Secretary General was asked to comment on the idea, they just test the water, of Poland shooting down missiles heading in its direction while they are still in Ukrainian airspace. And I'm quoting, NATO will support Ukraine, and we have now increased our support, but NATO's policy is unchanged. We will not be involved in a conflict. We will not become part of the conflict. So we support Ukraine in the destruction of Russian aircraft, but NATO will not be directly involved. Du bist, du hast, you are. You are, my friends. You are. Anyway, as I said, Stoltenberg confirmed his position that Ukraine has the right to attack legitimate military targets on the territory of Russia, the aggressor country. Okay, next article. New Voice of Ukraine, the same thing. Stoltenberg opposes Poland's downing Russian missiles. Now, they say the Poles want to shoot it coming their way. Well, I would like to know how far. 300 miles inside Ukraine, 350 miles, 50 miles, 5 miles, because that matters. Because if it's, let's say, 350, that's like no flight zone over there. They're going to actually be actively fighting and destroying the Russian missiles, and the Russians will not have it. So again, Stoltenberg opposes Poland downing of your Russian missiles, New Voice of Ukraine, and Ukrinform. Stoltenberg rejects the idea of shooting down Russian missiles from Polish territory. So the same garbage with three mouths. And we go now to what NATO does in the same time. So no, we're not going to defend you. We don't support that. We don't want to be hit. We don't want to be scratched. We don't want to be poked in the eyes or in nostrils. No, we don't want that. We want you to have that, but we are not involved. If you want, and we're going to tell you, you should do it. Why? Because we order you. We don't tell you. NATO declares U.S. ballistic missile defense base in Poland mission ready. So in the same time, the Americans are building defense base with U.S. ballistic missile defense base in Poland. Why do you think those are over there? To defend Poland and NATO? That's an occupation force. This Russia and United States of America and Europe, these guys are, I think, redistributing their influence over the world. The problem is the Americans have Russia plus Russia's new club, the club of the good, all right? And the losers is Europe, or are the Europeans. Why? Because the United States of America brings everything over there in the name of protecting you. And they're going to protect you like you allow someone from, I don't know, 5 villages away to come over and protect you, come in your house and protect you because of your next door neighbor. But hey, and they tell you that's the boogeyman right there, and you say, yeah, you come over here, yeah, you take my wife, you take my bedroom, that's mine, okay, no problem, take it, because the guy over there, you tell my leaders, and my leaders, yes sir, remember, yeah, my leaders tell us as well that's the Russian threat. If you don't come over and you do what you do in my house, the Russians will do it. And we like your cock better, it seems like. All right, let's move on. Washington, a new U.S. air defense base in northern Poland designed to detect and intercept, only designed to intercept, they're not going to shoot anything. Ballistic missiles attacks as part of the border NATO missile shield is mission ready, the Western Military Alliance announced on Wednesday. As Putin said, everything that is a missile, that it's supposed to be defensive, air defense system, it could be activated to be offense system. But anyway, the baboons, it's defense, like NATO. NATO, it's a defense alliance, man. All right, baboons everywhere. Get off me. Get off of me. All right. Speaking on the sidelines of the NATO summit in Washington, the alliance's chief Stoltenberg said the readiness of the base was an important step for transatlantic security. They will defend everybody in the face of growing threat posed by ballistic missiles. Transatlantic. Europe is on this side of Atlantic, so they are defending me from the Russians that you have to fight. Thank you. Thank you. Look here, and I'm quoting, this is Weasel 100%, and I'm quoting, as a defensive alliance that we are, by fact, de facto, and de jure, we cannot ignore the threat. No, we can't, because we say that's a threat. Can you see they attacked Ukraine unprovoked? That's the evidence. Forget about everything else that happened before and everything that happened after. We tell you what you need to know, and everything else, poof, doesn't exist because we don't tell you. Missile defense is an essential element for NATO's core task of collective defense. But hey, you're going to fight for me. I'm not going to fight for you. I give you the means, and once you're destroyed and the next target is me, I will make peace with the Russians. Just like, hello, do svidaniya, how are you doing? I love you too. All right. He added, noting ballistic missiles have been widely used in conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. All right, next one. Ukrinform. Ukraine can use French weapons to strike targets in Russia, but not the Kremlin. Don't you feel good about it? So they can hit targets, but not the Kremlin. They didn't say civilians or no, just the Kremlin. And the Ukrainians, with the help of, will say, yes, pinky promise, we won't do that. Macron's advisor, what's his name? Jean Stein. Emmanuel Bonner, a foreign policy advisor to French President Emmanuel Macron, stated this in a comment to Ukraine Forum. Ukraine can hit Russian territory with French weapons. This was announced publicly. Bonnet said, I don't know, Bonnet. He also clarified, but I mean, we said, given that the Russians are moving military capabilities to the border with Ukraine with the aim of penetrating into Ukraine, it is necessary and logical that the Ukrainians should be allowed to strike these capabilities. I agree with that. Yeah, and I'm quoting. So there is certain a nuance that is murky, okay? Which is, there's nuances when we want to be murky, but then Russia is evil and invaded unprovoked. That's it. No nuances, nothing. The guy over there in the 30s is the most, in the early 40s, the most evil and nothing because, but when it's about us, hold on, arrête. We got nuances here. Oh, so you can be a little bit more sophisticated in your little bzz nerve that dictates what to fuck and what to not. He also, yeah, all right. So there's a certain ones, which is the Ukrainian can use what we give them to strike the object that the Russians are mobilizing to use to continue the war. What if they use population? What if they use, I know, they're going to make food for the soldiers. They have, let's say, meat factories. They help to move forward. Right? No, okay. But this does not mean that they can strike the Kremlin, and the key word is tomorrow. What about the next day? I didn't say next day, I said tomorrow. So that means tomorrow. So this guy is either a tard or he is just a weasel. If he's a tard, he doesn't know what he's talking about and he should not be an advisor. But he's an advisor because he's very smart. That means he knows the meaning of words. So tomorrow, Kremlin is safe, but the next day, no. Remember that story of Aristotle? Supposedly Aristotle went to borrow his neighbor's goat for milk. He didn't have milk anymore. And Aristotle went and said, I will bring the goat back. I'm just borrowing it. I will bring it back. All right? And after, I know, a week, nothing. Doesn't bring the goat back. 2 weeks, nothing. After a month, not bringing the goat back, the neighbor said, hey, Aristotle, hello. How is the goat doing? Very good. Well, you said you're going to bring the goat back. And Aristotle said, yeah, that's true. I will bring it back. But I didn't say when. The same here. Pay attention when this guy is going to say something like that. Oh, they can strike it tomorrow or in the near future. Whoa. What do you mean in the near future? So there is a little catch? Yeah, murky. Don't you think that they will use this tomorrow when they will do it? Well, we said that we didn't say the next month or next year. Anyway, let's move on. This Weinstein-looking guy, Yermak, right here for you. Here is the Ukrainian chief of staff. What's his name? Zelensky Stein's, I think he's in charge more than Zelensky. Permission to strike deep into Russia with Western weapons can save many lives. Head of PO. PO is what? Piece of. In order to destroy the head of the president's office. That's an administrative function, not decision maker, just administration. That he's everywhere. Andriy Yermak wrote on his Telegram. The Russian Ministry of Defense publicly boasts about how it drops bombs on Ukraine, which they do this with Sukhoi 34 aircraft based at airfields that we must destroy to protect our people. No, I tell you what you need to do. You need to tell if you really care for the Ukrainians, tell your masters to, hey, back off, we're going to, oh no, what? That's exactly what would happen, but hey, I'm just getting ahead of my skis. Go and talk, say, no more war. Let's talk to the Russians, stop the war, let's negotiate. That will save many, many lives. But nah, I don't think that's what Yermak has in mind. Because it's not his people. Sputnik, last topic. Sweden closing Nord Stream's explosions case signals international conspiracy, Moscow claims. That means they can find shit. So, Swedish investigators have been unable to bring charges for the bombing of the Nord Stream gas pipelines and discontinued the case, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said. So, in response, Moscow hit back claiming international conspiracy. We are talking about an international conspiracy to conceal a serious crime, a terrorist attack, and Stockholm has an appropriate role in its mutual responsibility, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman said, Zakharova. That's true. So, bye-bye. We're going to find something? Never. Imagine if the roles would be reversed. We would find out immediately it was Russia doing hanky-panky. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.